You remember what I said? You gotta really think now. There are people that, you know, different life bothers different people. You gotta use my yogurt. Oh my goodness. I have way too much to do today. Well, hello. Aren't you cute? Wallace did.
Who is this?
Ezekiel, who was sitting there with his hood on her. And you know what? Really, at the moment, it really looked like him. The way he was sitting. Yeah, your outfit's cute. You look like you could be cold.
Not really.
It's not as cold as it is. Friday? Yeah. Got any St. Patty's Day plans? Oh, it's tomorrow. Yeah, my son didn't even know either. He's like, hey, I didn't even see I wore an emerald today. Which is also my first. We are going to Chico. Take my son and his girlfriend out to an Irish club for lunch. Yeah. And I don't drink because my husband won't be drinking because they got a drive for Sacramento. So they're like, okay, we'll watch people drink beer here. We'll eat corned beef sandwiches. It'll be fun. Chico's a little college town, so that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting on St. Patty's Day. It'll be fun.
That's gonna be.
There'll probably be a parade or something.
Freaking frat dudes.
And girls, yeah, actually there'll be all kinds of outfits. I have a big green turtleneck sweater to wear. Well, it's not that big, actually. It's cute.
How many times did he shut?
I don't want my friend to go to Chico because that's like the party college, and I'm like,
My
please
cousin-
don't go to Chico.
My cousin Susie went there and she came out all right. If people can, Chico is a nice little city.
Yeah.
It really has like a good vibe. And so it's actually a good location to go. There's some mountains around, different things to do.
It's like, it's such a party.
It has that
They don't have very
reputation.
many parties anymore.
Yeah, things have changed. You
I
know?
just really recently visited there.
Did you? It's a beautiful little city, huh?
Yeah, and I went to Chico College.
Did you?
Yeah, they don't have very much parties anymore.
Well, people have gotten smart, you know.
Thank God.
Yeah.
They choose to have more like schooling and
Good.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Chico's and it's a neat little place. I like it.
Yeah. The group that I went with, they're always like, how was the party? And they're like, we don't have very much parties. We mostly want to focus on school.
Right. Well, there's been a lot of national attention, you know, on a couple
But
of.
they have a bill that rings like every 45, every 30 minutes or every half an hour, something like that.
Right, but I mean, there's been some, it's kind of a common practice at the fraternity parties that where people have to drink so much alcohol, and every year people die. Young men die from this more than women, but women do too. But it's like, that, there's been a lot of media attention brought to that over the past few years, which is a good thing, because at least kids are aware going into college that, you know, you don't do that. Because you could be the one whose body shuts down. You know what I mean? You don't know. How do you know? Because not everybody dies from it, but you just don't know because it is a poison. Alcohol is a poison. So in a large amount, it can be lethal. So at least people are educated and they know this goes on. So I think less of it will go on. So, you know what I mean? Hello.
My friend got accepted to Oregon and Chico, and I was like, please go to Oregon.
She goes closer.
I like, this is the party.
Right. People party everywhere. Oh, how beautiful!
Yeah.
Are you going there to see it?
Chargers bring trash.
Oh. Well, you'll get to go again once you before.
Car charger makes some
Yeah.
come on.
From the cabin? You have to dig it out? We used to go in my Uncle Calvin's cabin, it was by Sierra Ski, and he had to dig a door out. Is it? Wow. I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
Uncle Calvin has been up in heaven for a long time now, but his daughter Susie still has it. She's the one with the cheapest thing.
Yeah.
So she doesn't open it up in winter because it's really old and the pipes will freeze, and so she like winterizes it. Chili goes up there in the summer, but it's beautiful. I love it up there. We used to take it to those sleds with the blades on the bottom and go down the streets on it. What is that? Bog?
Bobsled.
Yeah. Exactly. You lay on it and my cousin would push me. It would just go
I
flying.
want one of, no, I hate the plastic ones.
Oh, no, the
They
wood
suck.
ones, they're dangerous as heck to wreck because you get beaten with them. They, you know, if you.
And there's a big fat lid on the
Like,
other side.
yes, so the,
Yeah.
the sides of the road are usually packed with ice. And so you're going down there and you just get up on the side a little bit, then you flip and the thing, that's probably why you don't notice if you don't get the wood ones are nice.
Nick,
Yeah.
try you one.
Just, make it what's rounded, okay?
Tell them I'm desperate. I'm dying.
See, that's why.
I'm dying.
Econ.
Thank you, Nick.
You know what I mean? I think there are some people because I can see how you just ride up a little bit and it will flip. I know. So as a little kid, I'll bet everybody go really big.
If anybody asks about cream, just a little tiny bit.
What? Did you get his papers wrong?
Did you ask? You good with me?
I'm gonna take roll down.
I got papers the other day, but then I had to send papers
No,
back.
he told me this morning he brought it.
He brought it,
Let's
okay.
hope that he did.
Okay.
And that would be good.
Ryan's done with his test?
He is, I'm gonna take it back to Mr. Barlow. But I'm just, if I need to go make copies, I'll just do it all in the same run.
Okay.
So when Nick gets back, maybe we can ask him.
Libby, what'd you have for dinner last night?
Spaghetti. Like the.
I love
But I took the leftover taco meat, put it on top of the thing.
Ooh,
It was actually, it was really good.
so next time, hear me out. Get a hoagie roll. That's, God. What did I just do? I just pinched my skin here. Get a hoagie roll and make a spaghetti sandwich. Have you ever done that before? Open up like French roll, stuff it with spaghetti. It's good. There's a Japanese bakery called Maharoba. It's on Freeport Boulevard. And they do these rolls. They do these bread rolls and they stuff it with cabbage and potato croquettes. They do like a pump sauce. So freaking good. Then you get the Kobe cream rolls too.
A couple times you brought up the Japanese today, and it's interesting. I'm going to see my friend who I don't see very often. She's like my best friend. She's half Japanese. She's half Chickasaw, if you will. And I call her Rucky Rinda Miller. Just Rucky Rinda. Anytime we've ever gone anywhere, we have a really good time. I used to go camping. Our families used to go camping at the beach together, and she had this one song, an Indian song. And so, the chorus is Ugh Pow Wow. So me and her would start singing it, and all the kids would go Ugh Pow Wow, and sing it around the campfire. And we'd get up and march, and people would walk by us and be like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm half Indian, I can do this." We had lots of fun. Sing Ugh Pow Wow.
I'm trying to remember what was the last time I went to a beach.
Yeah.
Visit Bodega Bay. That I know.
The last time I went, my tire blew out. In the parking lot.
It's just like a ray of sunshine. We're like talking about the beach.
We was
Think
in
back
beach
at-
for
I know,
15 minutes.
tire burn.
I had to have my car.
I broke down the hives.
Ah, that was a nightmare. That was a Christmas vacation. I took Sarah and the boys to the beach. We'd pull in to get a sandwich and go across the street. I blew up my tire. The little grandkids are in the back seat going, "Beach, Grandma, beach." In a little while, about 3 hours later, we made the beach before sunset.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what?
What'd you say you had for dinner? Oh, spaghetti. With taco meat on top. I listened. Garlic bread?
No,
Salad?
my mom didn't make it.
Do you have anything to drink with it? Milk, water?
I had,
Orange juice. Oh, orange juice and spaghetti? That's not it. Alright, I'm not gonna judge.
yeah, don't judge me.
I'm sorry.
God.
Bad on me. What?
Thinking out loud.
You said something about storks? You said, what is what I heard you say? I'm gonna sue me some storks.
I want to say, hi Tanisha, Trevor said one of those outlets over there, something had broken off in it. Or someone had put something in
This one
one of
right
the-
here?
Yeah, so I just want you to be careful. Trevor was supposed to let you know, but he forgot, so I'm letting you. So one of the outlets has an issue, something in it. So just be careful.
Here.
You're
That's
what?
like stupid. That's sticking out paper.
But I don't know if you should put paper on an outlet.
But like, this is, it's not like,
Oh, on the top of it?
yeah.
Okay, you know which one?
It's the one that she just pointed at. Oh, yeah, I see it.
You see something sticking
Yeah,
out
I
of
think
it?
Trevor said
yeah.
someone shoved something.
I
Devin?
think
Thank you.
their thing might have broken off
Yeah.
into the outlet.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
The thing.
Like their
Charger,
the key.
Gotcha.
the two little prongs.
That sucks.
The prongs.
They conduct electricity.
Yes. I was trying
Yeah,
to.
It's a square thing down the wire. That's
Yeah,
all I
you get it out, yeah.
know.
So you get it out and drop the whole
Wait, what?
wire off, get it out.
Oh yeah, you can't put that on top of that.
I wasn't talking about putting it on.
What will start a
No, I
fire?
mean like,
Leave it
leave
stuck
it
in there.
Leave it in.
The power switch is still on.
But and see, the sticky note can't be right over the outlet because that's.
It's not touching it.
Yeah, but we'll keep it worried.
What the hell just happened? I don't even know what just happened. I need some coffee.
I need something.
What the hell just happened? I feel like I have been watching on, my non-cable TV shows. I've been watching The Outer Limits. That was an Outer Limits episode.
Was
My
it?
head,
I have a question.
Yes.
Is Daichi here? I saw
Yeah,
him
yes,
for
he's
years.
here, he's gonna be in this afternoon.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I
Didn't
thought-
you?
He was supposed to contact us.
Oh.
He's
Yeah.
contacting you through me, because he asked me to tell you. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me.
Go, Daichi.
No, it's not
Yes,
that.
Savage, where is that?
I'm just teasing
It's
you.
not that.
funny.
Daichi was told specifically to follow some rule, telling another student, I'm gonna freaking.
Call
Oh,
it.
no.
Call it.
Where did Nick go?
I feel like exerting my power
Coffee.
today.
Some long coffee. Long brew.
Well, you went up to, he had to go to E1. They might be
You
brewing
need to
it.
go via Ashton Park.
Right. Meet the layout. Hi, B4B Katie. This is B14 Wallace. Hey, is Daichi sitting in there? Would you please pass a message on to him? Let him know that I'm not gonna mark him absent today, but telling another student to tell us that where he is does not work for me. I told him he needs to let me know himself, and that if it's okay with Mrs. Evans, you can call me so he doesn't have to walk. But not to put it in the hands of another student. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. And here's the thing. If you would have left, like, when he told, like, if you would have, there would have been an emergency or something, you wouldn't end up here, I would know where he is. And so he needs to, that's his responsibility. So, but thank you for passing the message on.
Yeah.
Devin, you were done, right?
No.
There was more? Was there dessert? You guys want to eat dessert?
I just didn't.
Did they eat dessert? Did they keep dessert from you? Or they like, let's have dessert. Is she gone? I think so. Wait, here's some. Where's my stuff? Dessert. Shut up. You don't need dessert right away. You're full. Don't tell me. Sorry. I was letting my imagination wander. Devin? Oh, Devin. Devin.
Yeah.
Oh, Devin. What did you have for dinner last night, Devin? Divine?
Homemade hamburger.
A homemade hamburger. Thank you for telling us. See, that sounds interesting. What was on it? Was it just the burger and bread? Were there condiments? Mayo, mustard, anything like that?
No.
Ketchup? Lettuce?
No.
Tomato?
No.
Cheese?
Yeah.
There was cheese. Now, you said a hamburger. How come you didn't say a cheeseburger? So you're not communicating
Oh my God.
accurately to me. Well, there's a difference between a cheeseburger and a hamburger, right? Ty, help me out. Is there a difference between a cheeseburger and a hamburger? What does a cheeseburger have on it? What does a hamburger have on it? Ham.
Not ham.
Put ham on top of
It
it.
doesn't work.
You never know.
Why do they even call it a
I
hamburger?
know. Who made that up? Why did they just call it a cow
Because
burger?
it's called, it's made with beef, not pig.
Since you're doing this, since you're creating this mess,
I won't.
I want you to look it up. Type in
Okay.
Mr.
hamburger.
Wallace, we're having a
I can
separate
do that.
conversation.
Hold on. No, she looked at me and said,
I
why did
did.
you call, okay, here's my
Smart.
guess. There was
Okay.
some cat in Germany in either Hamburg or his last name was
Oh,
Hamburger.
yeah, you're probably
And
right.
it probably started there,
Freaking Germans.
based on,
Yeah.
and I'm
Everything
sure,
starts with the
Freaking
Germans.
Germans.
Right.
Quite a few things. Okay, let's Google it.
Samantha,
Mountain Mike's pepperoni pizza and breakfast.
and this time it was cooked.
And for dessert, I didn't have it. I made homemade cookie brownie bar.
Wait a minute, you said you didn't have dessert, and then you said you made homemade cookie brownie bars. So did you have
We
dessert?
didn't eat them.
Oh, you made them but didn't eat them. Did you make them and throw them away?
No.
Did you make them and throw them at passing cars? Did you make
Oh,
them and?
oh my God, that just made me
I don't
remind
do
you just
that.
reminded me of a really good story.
I can tell you,
I don't do
he's
that.
right.
I was not to do that.
It originated
I was
from
raised not to do
Hamburg,
that.
Germany, Germany's second largest city.
Okay.
The old High German Hammer, referring to a bend in a river.
You're the one who
Okay,
thought that, I
okay.
guess.
Mr. Wallace. So my dad was driving me to Sutter Middle School when I was in 7th grade.
In middle school?
Yes.
Duh.
So we were trying to merge. You know where Tokyo Cross is? Was.
Right.
Yeah. So like at that intersection, we were going to cross the big bridge, and so you know there's like that turn lane that like merges into that main road.
Okay.
And so
Terrible.
this freaking crazy lady, she was trying to merge like as we were going past her,
I
and
know
she
where this is
almost
going.
she almost hit
She
our
was
car.
Asian, huh?
No.
Okay.
She almost hit our car and she was like freaking honking at us. And then she has the audacity to take her donut. I'm like, why would you waste your donut? She took her donut and threw it at our
Are
car.
you serious?
No. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm serious.
That's road rage, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
like,
donut rage.
no, but I'm in my head, I'm like, why would you waste that donut? Like, what's wrong with you? And then she turns into sack state. So she's a student.
She was like standing 1 minute, it's a lady, the next minute she's
No,
sat
she looks
still.
like a student.
You know, be careful because.
And
you just never know.
my dad made me take a picture of her license.
In case there was damage from the donut,
Yeah.
there could have been sugar could scratch the meat.
We gained half a pound from that one.
So, you know, many years ago, I guess it would have been in 1980.
Wait a minute, donut throwing mad woman is gonna lead to another.
Well, I
This
want-
better be about a donut.
It's about a car. It's about road rage.
Oh boy.
Now, you guys, this was a long time ago when nobody even talked about road rage. And I was with 3 friends in a Volkswagen Bug on the Oakland Bay Bridge going to a Kinks concert in Berkeley. And a car, a Trans Am, drove up beside us and was like kind of encroaching on our lane. So me, being the stupid 17-year-old that I was, flipped the guy off.
Oh, I've done that before.
He pulls out and he shows it to us. And the driver of the Bug just goes, starts driving and going in traffic. And the guy is literally following us. Me and the girl in the back literally got on the floor where we were scared to death. The guy that was driving the Bug got off at an exit, and the Trans Am couldn't get off in traffic. He fired a shot at the Bug, hit the top of the car right above the driver's head. It went ding, and then there was a ding there. So this was in 1981. And who would have thought anything like that would happen? Now, things are a lot more crowded now, right? So you guys be really careful when you're driving. You just don't know, girl, guy, who that other driver, what's going on with them. You know what I mean? Just remember that your whole life. Just
Or imagine pissing me off.
no, just don't do it.
What do you think would happen if you piss me off and we're both on the
We're
road?
like, oh, all right.
I'm like, oh, hey, Mr. Wallace.
Oh, you have a detention. I'm calling her right now.
I'm like 30 years old.
I tell you, I get nervous anytime I have to walk into the main office.
Oh, also, like,
Over.
whenever I'm like with my mom in the car, I like to.
So we're gonna conduct class, the rest of you guys, the 2 of them,
And
are
then
gonna be
I
doing
teach
so.
people like what
Okay.
they're like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I'm
What
like,
am I doing?
no, and then my mom's like, people are gonna see you doing that, and they're gonna like shoot you or something. And I'm like, they cannot hear what I'm saying.
Yeah, just
oh my
don't let
god.
them think that you're talking about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be careful, because you just don't.
I don't look at them and like have it.
And Mr. Wallace.
Or YouTube.
Yes. We're
No.
done.
What's that?
Where is Ned? He never
Her
came
dad is
out.
outside.
Did you bring your paper?
Your dad's outside. Hey, Samantha. Oh, pizza. Andrew, what did you have for dinner last night?
I haven't told you.
I know.
I never told you.
We
Well,
left.
what if the class?
Wait, what?
I don't think he was saying it like he wasn't going to tell us. He was just pointing out that he didn't tell us. But I knew that because you went to watch the movie. What did you have for dinner last night?
I had I
I'm still blown away at the one thing that those three wanted to know. All right, Wallace, you gotta tell us now that we're all graduating stuff. You get high, right? I'm like, seriously, guys? This is like the first question. I haven't seen you in 3 years. The first thing you want to know. The first thing you're not like, how you doing, Mr. Wallace? How's life been? Blah, blah. You get high, right? What is the fascination with
Did you tell them the
teenagers and getting it? Listen, I tell students, this is what I always tell them. I tell them, when they're in school, what my history is none of your business and it's irrelevant. Now, there are things, of course, that I share. But when it comes to like those... Dude, I'm gonna hose you off if you do that again. I'd drag you outside and hose you off. Jesus. You sounded like Mild Horse Bessie. She's eating too many apples. No, you know, here's the thing, guys. I mean, it's an inappropriate conversation to have at school, right?
Okay.
I mean, seriously, it's
But
like,
it's in the setting of the restaurant.
in the setting of the restaurant, well, what happens in the setting of the restaurant? Stays in the setting
In
of
the
the
restaurant.
right? But I just think it's funny. My point isn't to bring up, to speculate as to whether Mr. Wallace does this or
We're gonna
that.
speculate as much as we
Well, of
want.
course people are. I mean, there were teachers that I used to think, oh man, that teacher is a partier. They just got, actually, there weren't a lot of teachers here at Rio who I thought that of. But I do remember being kind of blown away by Mr. Minch's sons, who were all these like big time bikers here in town. And I thought, man, I always liked Mr. Minch, but I liked him even more after that. I thought, that's cool. And they were really nice dudes. They were like the kinds of guys you wouldn't want to piss off. But they were like really, they were very, I went into this one guy's house, I went with another friend who was a couple years, I was like a senior in high school, and I was treated very well. And I thought that was really cool. They were good people. But Mr. Minch was a good guy too. He used to stop and give me a ride to school. This back in the days. Well, that's not true. I give students rides, so it's still the same. But all prevailing wisdom is that you shouldn't do that. And that's okay. Coach Smith, I remember they talked about we being staff meetings, they talked about, some new male teachers especially say, never hug your students in this day and age. It's like bullcrap. I want to hug my students. If I want to hug my students want to hug, I'm going to give them a hug.
Remember Dave Mason?
Oh, I remember Dave Mason.
Well, I have to tell you this. I happen to be working for Miss Savage, and she had a student in with Coach Smith, and I had never been around Coach Smith before. It was the beginning of the year, and it was the late spring. So Dave Mason was in that class for the first couple of days, and he was not very loud. He wasn't really on attention the whole time. It wasn't a disruption. But then he wasn't there, so he was obviously transferred. And Coach Smith made an announcement. That was fun. The pimply faced little kid is not in the class anymore. And Dave Mason did. He was very short, and he did
Smith
have a lot of
loved
action.
Mason.
He had really crazy hair. He was a character if you looked at him. I mean, but it was. When Coach Smith said that, I just about died.
Yeah. And Mason was in Smith's class for a couple of years, and Smith would come in here, pull me out of class. What's going on with Dave? How's Dave doing? What do we need to do? He was always, Dave was a funny guy. Mr. Taylor told me he was at the corner of Barrows and Arden, and traffic came to a standstill. And there was a bunch of construction workers in this truck, and Dave Mason was standing in front of the truck, had his shirt off, both barrels blazing, going, F you guys. And he said, and Dave Mason's smaller than Nick. And these guys are sitting there, and he said these dudes were just yoked, and they're all looking at him, and they were like looking at each other, and they just like shook their heads. And like the guy's like, all right, can you just get out of the way? And he's like, come on, let's go. And the guy's like, dude, just get. Just get out of the way, man. Like, the dude didn't want to fight him. You know, it's like he's being a 30-year-old buff guy's being called out by an 8-year-old kid. You know, the guy's just like, dude, just, okay, fine. Yeah, you're right, sorry. And Dave's like, that's right. I mean,
How long ago was that?
This was like when he was a senior in high school.
Yeah, David.
Well,
Dave was like that.
My cousin Christine wound up substituting for Andy for quite some time. And I was her assistant, and he was in that class.
Dave.
And Christine is, she has a very dry sense of humor, she's very proper. And, she, at one point, she goes, he's funny. And he behaved pretty well in there, considering there was this,
You know what? I saw Dave early on in his career. There was a young lady who a lot of people didn't talk to and didn't like. No, they didn't dislike her, but they wouldn't talk to her. She kind of freaked them out. And Dave, it was a cold day, and I was like waiting, and you know, of course I left my door open. And he offered her his jacket.
yeah.
That's the kind of person Dave was. He was a good guy. He had a really good heart.
Yeah, he did. You could see, I could see his heart through his behavior.
But he was incredibly impulsive, and he had friends who just, and they knew it, and so they get him because they knew you gave Dave a challenge. Hey, Dave,
Yeah.
go over there and knock the glasses off of the principal's head. Oh, okay. He did.
Then he wouldn't stop.
And then he'd be like, look, they told me to. Dave probably, I probably would have hung out with Dave when I was in high school. He was a spaz.
Did you bring your other pictures with you? Oh, you did?
B14. This is he. Hi, Victoria. I'm doing fine, thank you. Oh, yes. Yeah, so you guys it's going to be Wednesday at 11 o'clock, and I'm telling them to meet at the main office. Okay, I'll let them know. And basically, if they're, some of the questions that I don't know what questions they specifically have, but what I want to emphasize is the school as a transition. Are you familiar with Laurel Rock? Oh, okay, so if you're familiar with Laurel Rock, that just kind of navigating through that, like if you imagine if you were to have your own child going to school there, if you don't hear the kinds of questions that should be asked, as far as, things concerning like transportation, what is the program that, I know that you're interested in the connection with American River College. So maybe making sure that she understands, here's what they can do concerning American River College. I don't know. So it's an orientation. Now, I believe that at Laurel Rock, transportation can be provided to American River College for a student. I don't know if it's there and back, if it's just one way. So things like that, finding out, I guess those are the kinds of things that I would want to find out, and then what are some of the programs, what can they be either trained in, or what are the kinds of, either academic support programs or work, especially work-related job skills kind of stuff. Yeah. It'll be Andrew Laura. That's the name of the student. And Andrew, what is your mother's first name again? Norbert. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Is Dolce going?
Yeah.
His older sister Dolce, so she would be a good person to, I know that she's. Oh, I'm assuming just the interpreter. And so if there's questions that Mom has about, and what I'm asking you to do is, if there's things that you think they should be asking, again, so it's kind of like, putting yourself in the shoes, like if I had a child who was attending the school, what would I need to know? Okay. Okay. Okay, so would you feel better if I sent you a list of questions that I think should be asked? Okay. Right. Mhm. Well, so here, it's an open house at Laurel Rest, so I don't know exactly how they run their open house. I'm going to assume that there's going to be booths, that they're gonna have classrooms open, and that there will be teachers, available if questions are asked. But it's not a tour. Yes. If there are booths, again, yeah. Well, there will be the Laurel Rough people on the other side. Okay. Can you send me an email through Outlook? Okay, and then I'll come up with a few questions. If nothing else, if you could at least ask these questions. Yeah. No. And you know what? And here's the other thing too. I don't want to give the wrong impression. Those might be questions that they ask anyway. I just want to make sure that those questions get asked. Okay. Thank you very much. No, I reckon if there's more questions, I'll get contacted by the parents. So I don't need to, if you feel that, if there's anything that I need to know, I would love to hear it. But then you don't have to do any extra work. Hey, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Miss Dr. Wallace, did Nick give you the paperwork?
Did you give me the paperwork? Where? It's on my desk. There's a lot on my desk. Thank you, Nick.
Okay.
So, let me get the rest. Was any paperwork sent out for Nick already?
Only the thing to speech yesterday.
Only thing was.
You said you would take it up to a box, and if you didn't, give it to me.
I said that.
Yeah,
Pick it up to the box.
you said you would, the copy of it, because she wasn't there in the door.
I must have done that. Okay, so here's, hold on to this. Let me give you the, I believe, I did not take that to speech.
Okay, so that's for Rebecca,
Okay, my
and that's all she needs, correct?
And then,
This is all Rebecca needs, right?
hold on. This needs to go to, we gotta put a date. So this needs to be put out. The date is, what was yesterday?
15.
15th?
Yeah, 3:15.
Okay, so if you can attach, all of this should go to site.
Okay.
And then all of this,
Is that including?
except for this, so all of this goes to site,
Okay,
and then AP and health information goes to nurse.
right.
And then all Rebecca needs is the AP. Copy.
Which is right here.
Yeah, she doesn't need all the other stuff. The health and
The nurse gets everything except that. Site gets
And then site
everything.
gets
Rebecca
everything.
gets that.
boom,
Okay.
all Rebecca needs is the AP. Yes, Nick. What's that? You want to ask me something? Go ahead, ask. If I say yes, Nick, just go ahead and ask. I'm obviously acknowledging you. What do you want to ask me, Nick? Nick, I don't want to have to go outside. Let me stay inside. If I go outside, I'm a vampire. The sun's out. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
know.
This is the district nurse.
It's the only nurse.
We've got boxes in there.
Should
In the regular.
It is in there. The box, so if you, okay, if
Do I
you're
need
in
to
the
go
main,
to counseling to put this in Kira's drawer, or can I put it in her mailbox?
if she has a mailbox in the main office,
Okay. And the nurse is in the main office.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
and speech is in the main office, it's
Right.
all there.
Okay.
Okay. Where did we stop? Andrew, did you ever say what you had? What did you have?
I had rolling,
Mullet? Nice, homemade?
and I had chicken nuggets with ketchup,
And mole. How interesting.
and then I had
What?
cake.
And cake?
Yeah.
That it?
The last one is, I had a burrito, tapatio.
Ooh, what kind of burrito? Bean?
It was being,
You put any mole sauce over it? I would. Yep, no.
just tapatio.
Thank you.
And the cake was coffee flavored. It was so good.
Ooh, that sounds good. Was it homemade?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just in a box.
Are you done now?
Yeah.
I think of the Costco and cupcake.
Costco has good pizza. I like it. Was it a combination?
No,
Okay. They make a good pie. Nick?
I cannot remember.
Did you go to Zach's? Because I know Zach had.
No.
You can go to Zach's. Nico? Chicken and rice, homemade?
I didn't have anything.
I made myself some chips, blue corn tortilla chips, melted cheese over the top, salsa, and then I made a mixture of couscous and fried potatoes and mixed veggies with curry. I mixed it all
That
together.
sounds so good.
That's my lunch today. You got a spoon, a plastic spoon? You wanna try it?
Sure.
Anyone wanna try it? If you have a plastic
So
spoon.
good.
But it's cold right now. Tastes a lot better heated. I got spoons. Yeah. These fast spoons. Oh, hey, you asked me for a plastic bag the other day. I just found one. What, you got a spoon?
No.
Put it on her hand.
You don't want to put it on your hand. Oh, cup that. Oh, for God's sakes, just make sure this potato. You guys, anyone else want to try some? Want to try mine? Yeah?
Oh, zucchini in there?
What do you think, huh? Wallace can cook. Yeah, he can. Damn right. Piece of potato in there for you, a piece of bell pepper. That kind of brown thing is not meat. That is potato.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? No one else wants to try any? What do you think? You like? Oh, yeah.
Me
Yeah,
too.
my kid- my
I want that
kids-
recipe.
My kids like to eat that with chicken, or not chicken, with sausage. So I'll take like chicken and apple sausage, I'll cut it up. My daughter, that's like her favorite thing that I make. And then sometimes I'll make it with scrambled eggs.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I make it for myself for protein, but I didn't have eggs last night. Okay, SID or review?
That's I need.
Throw it out there.
When is the test thing?
The test,
The midterm.
your notes, gonna be on these notes. Nothing but these notes.
When is it?
Oh, when is it? Probably next week. I wanna do some more review. I don't feel like I've reviewed enough with you guys. I'd like to go at least Monday and Tuesday, probably do it Thursday. That's my target, is to have you guys take
So we
this
don't have
Thursday.
a lot of time.
That gives us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It gives you the weekend to study. Remember, my notes are not to be used on my test. If you need me to, I'll modify your grade. Okay? But I want to see what you retain without notes. All right?
I don't retain anything.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is, really short-term memory.
Well, then that's okay. I mean, if that's the case, then that's the case. But I know for a fact, you can regurgitate information. You've done it before. Like if I say to you, what's GDP? Now, you may not know GDP, but there's things that I've asked you before. The other thing too, guys, is if you study, I know that sometimes you'll give me the right answer to the wrong question. So I know that those ideas are floating in your head, so it's a matter of concentrating on this. I think sometimes probably what affects that is when your mind is elsewhere, when you're looking at your gadget, you got your headphones in, that kind of thing. You guys should know microeconomics, macroeconomics, GDP, what is scarcity, what are the resources? Yeah. Is it right? Oh, thank you. It's my birthday. You can bring me a knee brace. Why are you here? Rita, why are you here? Rita, there's 20 minutes left in class. Are you taking a test? Why are we doing this with only 20 minutes left in class? Was the test just given out? It was just given out, not at the beginning of class? Okay. You know what? You probably should have stayed there and worked on it. Unless did the teacher ask you to leave? Because with only 20 minutes, you're wasting like valuable time walking. With only 20 minutes left, you might as well just do it there. Then you don't have to cut into the time. Go ahead and start it. SID, guys, economics. What are you going to do in the future? You guys got a plan? Huh? Let's talk real life economics. How many of you want to move out of the house this coming fall? One person? You don't want to move out this coming fall? How many of you want to move out on your own
I mean,
this
I
coming fall?
want to, but I can't.
Okay. So if it's something that you want to do, if you can't, is it because of financially you can't? You need the money. So do you guys know when you move out, what are you going to need? So let's say I'm a landlord and I'm going to rent you a place
Down
for
payment.
what's that?
Down payment.
Do you guys know what a down payment usually consists of? Anybody? Right, but how much money are you going to put down? Do you guys know?
Half of the payment.
So some places will require that you pay them the first and last month's rent. That means they're going to hold on. So if their rent is $500 a month, you're going to give them $1,000. They're not going to cash that other $500, or maybe they will. I don't know what they'll do with it. And then what happens is, if you run out on them ever, they have that last month's rent. Okay. And then if you stay there, when you give them your notice and you're going to move out that last month, you can stay there and not have to worry about the rent. The other thing is some of them will require a cleaning deposit. You guys know that? They'll want a cleaning deposit usually of about, in the old days it used to be like $100, $150. And that way if you move out and the place is trashed, they're going to keep your cleaning deposit. Okay? So like if you paint the walls and they gotta double coat them because you use something that's really dark. You're probably not gonna get your cleaning deposit back. If you leave them a lot of trash that they have to call a place to haul stuff away, like me and my friends did. Not me, but my friend liked to drink a lot of beer in college. I was busy reading Bibles in the corner of the living room while he drank all of his beers. And he left all his beer cans. He thought it would be funny, beer cans and beer bottles. He left them on the edge of the fence. They were all in the backyard. All over, and there was like a lot of beer bottles. My friend liked to drink a lot of beer. Again, I was busy reading my Bible in the corner of the living room. So when we moved out, Guess who kept our cleaning deposit? My mom's friend, he rented us and he was like, man, he trashed my place, he was pissed. We didn't get our cleaning deposit back. We didn't deserve it. Okay, so if you plan to move out at some point, so let's say Libby raised her hand, you wanna move out in say a year, and if your parents aren't going to help you, you guys need to figure out how much you can afford. What's the formula for figuring out rent, Nico? This is what we're gonna be doing a lot in the second half, is your budget. We're gonna be doing that a lot. What's the formula, guys? Okay, based on $10 an hour, will you guys be able to afford $1,000 apartment?
No.
A month apartment? No, what's the formula? What are they gonna look at? You said gross.
Pay
Very good. Over how long?
a year.
No. They're gonna look at your gross monthly income, and it can't be less than what? The rent. I'm sorry, it can't be more than a third of your gross monthly income. So if your rent, if you make $10 an hour, can you guys do that in your head about how much are you gonna make a month? You guys know how much you're gonna make a day, right? What's 10 times 8?
80,
$80 a day. How many days in a typical work week?
40. Okay.
There you go, 40.
40 days.
Yeah, no. I know what you meant though, 40 hours because it's 5 days. That's a typical work week. What's 80 times 5? What's 8 times 5? Think about 8 times 5 and throw. What's 8 times 5? What did you say?
40.
And throw a 0 after it.
40.
So you're gonna make about 400, and how many weeks are in a month? How many weeks in a month? Basically 4 weeks, so you know your income for a month is gonna be about $1,600. It's gonna be a little under 16, but we'll round it up to 1,600. So how much can you rent? What's the
What is
most
that?
your rent can be? What?
What is that before taxes?
That's, so they look at it before, they don't look at net, they look at gross. So what's a third of 16? So you need to divide 3 into 1,600, what is it? So round it, what's that?
5.
Yeah, very good, about 500 a month, 500 and some change. So let's say 550. I think the figure I gave you guys, because we're looking at making, I think $10.50 an hour is $5.75. So you guys can afford $5.75. So Andrew, based on everything I told you, when you first go to rent from me, how much are you probably gonna have to bring? 1,000, which covers what? First and last month. But I said, what else is included in that first and last month?
Cleaning.
A cleaning deposit, which is about how much, Tyler?
Yeah.
Your cleaning deposit is gonna probably be around $200,
Yeah.
okay? So really, you have to show up, Samantha, with about $1,200 if you wanna rent from me. And you have to have verifiable income, so I'm gonna call your employer. Hi, I am renting, I rent some apartments, and Nikos Tavares has applied for one of my apartments, and I want to verify his employment. Does he work 40 hours a week at $10.50 an hour? Yes, he does. Okay, so don't lie to them. Did they say, does he work 40 hours a week at $12 an hour so that you can get a nicer apartment and you think you're going to be able to pull this off somehow? Make sure you don't lie to them. Because if I'm a landlord and I find out that you're not making what you say you are, I'm going to think, well, this person's a flake. Okay. Make sense? How much does school cost if you guys go to AR? How many of you want to go to AR next fall? Alright, what does it cost? I gave you guys, it's all part of your formula, it was in your notes. If you don't remember it, that's okay. What? I just saw you mouth, it looked like you said 40. Was it 40 something?
$48.
It's about, so it's 46, right now it's $46 a unit. What is a unit team?
3.
Very good. A typical class is how many units? 3 units. So a typical class is gonna cost you how many dollars? It'd be 3 times 46, so round it out to 50. 3 times 50, how much is that? Well, what's 3 times 5?
150.
What?
150.
150. So basically $150 a class. Now what else are you gonna have to pay for, guys?
Books.
Books. So you can factor in between 50 and $100. If it's a science class, it's probably gonna be about $100. If it's a class that requires a lot of books, it's probably gonna be about $100. Libby, what else do you gotta factor in? So you got tuition, you got books,
Property.
transportation. How many of
Living
you-
on campus? Oh, no.
Living on campus, you're probably not gonna be able to afford that. But listen, sometimes it is cheaper to live on campus. So if you guys wanna transfer, like, I don't know if you know this, but if you like Humboldt, College of the Redwoods has dorms. Sac City and AR, I don't think has dorms. Sierra College has dorms.
Sac State.
Sac State has dorms, okay? Sometimes that's actually a pretty good deal depending on the school. Because so you look at, well, here's how much it costs. But if you're living at home to save money and you're gonna go to school, and I bet if you're working and going to school, your parents probably won't have any problem with you living at home. It's when you're living at home, sitting in the basement all day, watching reruns of Friends
So what
and
happens?
taking long hits. That's when your parents will have a problem with you.
You know how like some people live on campus, what happens when you're done with school?
So like at the summer, you leave. Usually in the summer, they're cleaning the dorms, so you have to leave. Yeah, you go home. See, a lot of those people have enough money where their parents, like, when I went to college, my first year,
Is that a dog or a deer?
is someone walking it?
Yeah.
Because most people don't walk deer. That would be kind of cool though. Is there? Is it my hero?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not Mr. God. Okay, so I got a question for you. How many classes do you want to take? Let's do the math real quick. This is on your feet econ. This is real world.
How many classes do you need?
You guys remember from our lecture?
12.
Okay, not 12 classes. 12 units is considered being a full-time student. Here's one of the things you guys have to remember too. Certain types, listen up, listen carefully. Certain types of government assistance, federal assistance for school requires you to be a full-time student. And if you're not a full-time student, you don't get that. And that means if you drop your classes, if you have 4 classes, that'll give you 12 units, right? 3 units a class. If you have 4 classes, and after week 2 you say, this is BS, I don't want to take this class anymore, you drop it, you go down to 9 units, you could lose your financial aid that semester if they find out. And guess what? If you keep doing that and they catch you, that's called fraud. If you're taking money to pay for a full-time schedule and you're not going to school full-time and you somehow swindled that, be very careful with that. You can get into a lot of trouble. And then what happens is the government is going to make you pay back what you owe them with penalties. And here's the other thing to remember. You can go bankrupt on some loans. You cannot do that with a student loan. Got it? So if you say, I know there's people out there saying, you know what, I'll just go bankrupt. And then they'll wipe away that debt and it screws my credit for 7 years, yada, yada, yada. No, with a student loan, it doesn't work like that. Whatever job you have, they will attach your wages and they will make you pay them back. If it's a student loan. Now, grants and scholarships, certain types, if you hear the word grant behind the type of finance, that means it's free money. Okay, usually there might be some endowment, or it's paid for by, there's something called a Pell Grant. That's a really popular one to get. That's paid for by the federal government. There's work grants. It's like, you guys gotta know this. Hey, I got $5,000 I can get from the government to go to school. What it is the government set aside $5,000 for you to work it off. So what you end up doing is you end up working at that school. So I had a $1,500 grant. That was a work grant. What I had to do is I had to at minimum wage, I had to work off that $1,500 in order to get it. If I didn't work it off and I used any of it, I had to pay it back. You guys hearing me? So when you guys get into this college game, you guys need to know what you're getting involved in. That's why you guys shouldn't let your parents do all of the work themselves. You need to sit there along with them, listen to what's going on, and find out what's going on. Sometimes you make a decision, and because you don't know what's going on, you think, hey, it's cool, you know what, screw it, I don't want this, I don't need it, blah, 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 blah. You end up screwing over your parents. Because if they're responsible for you, then they end up having to pay your bills. Okay? Before you leave, give me the formula again. You want to rent something, what's the formula? If you make $10 an hour, how much are you going to make a month? Approximately. $1,600, what's the formula for renting? What can your rent not be more than? Why don't you stay here? You can go this for at least, since you answered it. A third of your gross monthly income. A third.
Okay, what?
Okay. Would you guys like to continue reviewing? You guys hear what I said? Does this make sense? Does this resonate, Nico? You want to go to school, Nico, or you just want to work? I get like wanting to, the first time I flunked out of college, all I wanted to do was work. I was like, screw this, I don't want to go back to school. And you know what happened? I worked, and I worked a lot. By the end of my work, I was like, hell no, I want to go back to school. Because you know my job, you know what I surrounded by? A bunch of old, grouchy dudes with plumber's butts. I got tired.
Anything's better than that. So this is all the originals now, and I did make a copy of the back sheet of the health form.
Are you trying to kill me? Can you please take me some of the sons? Very important, I hope and clean this mess. I'm going to clean this mess. Just, no, I'll get it out of here. You don't have to worry about it.
You don't even leave it in the
You going to
basket.
Woodland today?
Huh,
You
yeah.
going to Woodland today? When? At 4?
ASAP.
Go, McGowan. Yes, gone. Go before I say anything else.